Hey, seventh graders, happy Wednesday. Today's assignment is pretty short for you guys. So yesterday, you guys should have completed the what is assignment where you guys learned that the was actually talking about carbon. So what is carbon, okay? That was your guys' focus yesterday. Today, we're going to take that knowledge about carbon a little bit further, and we're going to talk about our carbon footprint. So those of you guys who have maybe heard about a carbon footprint before, or have never heard about carbon footprint before, basically what you guys are going to learn is that your carbon footprint is your environmental impact. So you as a human being, what environmental impact are you guys having right now? And you know, in 10, 100 years down the road, what's your environmental impact that you left behind? So your learning target, I can explore my environmental impact. Okay, so very first thing I want you guys to do is go on to slide 2, right-click this link, and open up the video that talks about greenhouse gases. For some reason, it keeps pulling up that it's starting at 40 minutes, so I'll have you guys just restart that video and watch it from the beginning. So it looks a little something like this. Okay, so it's a little PBS video. Again, it talks about what greenhouse gases are and how damaging they are to our atmosphere or our environment. Okay, so one of the main focuses you guys are going to see here is that carbon dioxide, what we breathe out, is going to be a big issue in our environment when the levels are too high. Obviously, it's a natural thing to have, and plants need it, but if it's too high, what's that causing? What kind of damage? All right, so moving on, you guys are going to have some facts to look at on slides 3 and 4, and you guys are going to be giving me your initial responses to those statements, okay? So I don't want you to research anything. I just want you to read the statement, think about it, and then circle whether you guys think it's true or false, or respond if it's a question. So your first statement says, transporting food leaves a larger carbon footprint than producing the food. So if we're talking about like a factory that makes a certain food, or even like a farm that's making the food, that has basically what the statement's saying is that has less of an environmental impact than putting it all in a big truck or a semi and sending it to the grocery store. Okay, so transporting food leaves a larger carbon footprint than producing the food. You guys will circle either true or false. Think about it. It's okay if you're wrong. These are your initial thoughts that you guys have about these. We're going to research them here in a second. If you are a vegetarian, you leave a smaller carbon footprint. So what do you guys think? Do you think that's true, or do you think it's false? Using electricity does not produce CO2 directly. So you learned a little bit about CO2 or carbon dioxide in that greenhouse gas video. So is that true or false? And then electric cars do not produce any CO2 emissions. So those are cars that you guys plug in. Do you think they still produce CO2 emissions or not? So mark true or false on there. Okay, so that is slide 3. Let's move on to slide 4. It's very similar, but there are two little subtle changes I want to point out to you guys. The largest producer of methane gas, which is a greenhouse gas, are factories. Circle true or false. Industry is the third largest man-made producer of CO2. Think mining, construction, agriculture, and manufacturing. So out of those 4 things, do you guys think that manufacturing is the third largest? Okay, so circle true or false on those. All right, these last 2 are a little bit different. You guys need to actually respond by typing, clicking and typing an answer. Okay, so you guys will need to go back to your cursor for this, and you guys will type in here. How might changing a piece of land from a natural habitat to a farmed field change carbon dioxide emissions? So maybe you have a forest, and then you guys wipe that forest clean and you turn it into farmland, okay? Or maybe it's just a field, and you guys wipe it clean of all the weeds, wildflowers, those kinds of things, and turn it into a farming. So do you guys think that would increase, make more carbon dioxide emissions, make less, or no change at all? Okay, and then what are 3 ways you think you can reduce your carbon footprint? Okay, so maybe one of your ideas could be like walking to school, riding your bike. Okay, so think about those 2 answers and type in an answer there. Okay, now what we're going to do is we're going to visit this link right here to check our answers. So you guys will go ahead, right click and open your link, and you guys will see a website that looks a little something like this. Okay, it's from GoKid, and you guys are going to find these exact facts in this little reading here. So you guys can read through and say, all right, let's look at our first fact and let's respond to that. Okay, so transporting food leaves a larger carbon footprint than producing food. So there we're going to go and we're going to look through, let's see here, an average U.S. household food consumption. So of this, producing that food is 83% of emissions and transporting is only 11. So you guys would go and say, all right, that one is false because it's actually producing food that produces more emissions and has a larger carbon footprint than transporting the food. Transporting the food only accounts for about 11% of those emissions. So then under the fact, you guys would type that. 11% of emissions is transporting, and 83% is producing food. Okay, so we actually make more of a carbon footprint producing the food, and the fact is in these numbers right here. So generally when I ask for evidence, I want some kind of number to support your guys' answer. So I'm going to go ahead and leave that one there for you guys to look. Okay, if you are a vegetarian, you leave a smaller carbon footprint, so you guys would go and talk about, find where it talks about vegetarians. So you guys can see there's something right here about vegetarians. All right, so I'm going to let you guys look through the rest of those. Electricity producing CO2, electric cars producing CO2, methane gas is factories, third largest is industry. Okay, and then how might a piece of land from a natural habitat to a farm field change carbon dioxide? So look that up and then look up 3 different ways that you guys can reduce your carbon footprint and see if any of those are the same. Okay, finally, you guys have a little article to read, so you guys will go into slide 8. You guys are going to right-click this article in Amplify, and it will take you guys in there, and then you guys can either read or listen to this. You guys might need to log in. I wish it wasn't making me do this for the video, but it is, so hopefully it shoots me in there quick. All right, so carbon in the global ecosystem. Remember, Amplify will read to you if you guys click this little speaker and hit play.
Carbon in the global.
So either sit back and read that or sit back and listen to it, and then you guys can go ahead and do your wrap up. Do you have any questions, yes or no? If yes, type them below. And then 4, 3, 2, 1, how do you think you guys did on this assignment? So great job. Now go ahead and hand this in. If you guys have any questions, let me know, and I will talk to you soon.